our universe, there are billions of galaxies, and within each one, hundreds of billions of stars. We occupy a very typical region of the vastness of space. Earth is a slab of rock, flying through an emptiness we cannot yet fully comprehend. It's just a speck of dust, but it's ours. What we choose to do on this rock is of boundless significance, and it is the very fragility of our world which inspired this course. Let us first define several varieties of renewable energy. Biomass and biofuel derive from or concern living or dead material used for fuel or industrial production. Typically, biomass refers to plant matter grown for use as biofuel as an alternative to fossil fuels. However, biomass also includes plant or animal matter as used for production of fibers, chemicals, or heat. Hydroelectricity is simply electricity produced by hydropower. It is currently the world's leading form of renewable energy and supplies approximately 19% of the world's electricity. Tidal power is a subset of hydropower that exploits the rise and fall in sea levels due to the level of tides. Wave power, another subset of hydropower, captures energy to do useful work such as electrical generation and desalination. Geothermal power is the use of geothermal heat to produce electricity. Iceland receives more than 50% of its energy from geothermal sources. Currently, the United States is the world's largest geothermal energy producer. Solar power is undoubtedly the world's most known renewable energy source. One of the major advantages of solar power is its viability in parts of the world where other forms of electricity are unavailable. The amount of solar energy intercepted by the Earth every minute is greater than the amount of energy the world uses in fossil fuels each year. Wind power is the form of renewable energy that we studied most in Europe. Windmills cultivate wind into electricity using turbines. Denmark derives approximately 20% of its energy from wind turbines. We began our journey on May 31st, 2007, here in Tampa, Florida. The first leg of our flight took us to Maryland. Onward to Iceland, a wonderland where night and day are a few chords short of harmony. We then stowed our bags at a hostel in Reykjavik and walked to the University of Iceland for our first lecture on hydrogen power.
The world's oil production will peak within 4 years, maybe for 2 years from now on. And as he says, there isn't anything we can do to stop it.
After a short walk, we visited the Pearl, a station which sits on top of and interconnects 6 hot water storage tanks. We never did see it spout. We then visited Blue Lagoon, a geothermal lake that is fed by the water output of a geothermal power plant. The water is vented from the ground near a lava flow and used to run turbines to generate electricity. Finally, on to Denmark. We landed in Copenhagen. We then traveled by rail to the Youth for Understanding House. YFU is an organization that serves as a nexus for exchange students studying in Denmark and from Denmark to around the world. By bus, we ventured northwest to meet with our first host families and to begin the bulk of our study.
And in this area where you are accommodated and where you will be around in different places here local, we have since 1996 supply all the needs of electricity coming from the windmills.
It's only a matter of a few decades, then the supply of oil and natural gas is expired. We have then plenty of coal available, but there's not enough atmosphere in this planet to burn all that coal that's available. That's the point of it. Then there's also uranium, but uranium is just as scarce as the gas and the oil. So this is no future either for long-term planning. So what is then left? What is then left for our future? Some of the biggest powers of economy in the world, the oil companies. Is anything bigger? No, nothing is bigger. In combination with the car industry that employs millions of people, has an enormous political influence. So much that they can decide which presidents are being elected. Are we going to war? Are we not going to war?
And if you look at the map, the Danish map about our grid companies, you will see there's in Denmark almost as many grid companies as there are grid companies in the whole US. We're still very tiny grid companies. So when I talk to my US colleagues in Washington, they all think that, oh, you're too many grid companies, how can you do that? Oh, you're spending an awful lot of money on administration or what they talk about. And then I just show them the figures about electricity available for our consumers, and then they shut up.
Hi.
Where they bury the guy?
So this is a house, huh? Awesome.
Sweet house.
We then traveled to Aarhus to meet our second host families and begin the second half of our study. Yes!
Glad I got that one.
That's the smell.
We traveled by rail to Copenhagen, and for the remainder of our time, we relaxed in preparation for our journey home. After dropping off our luggage at the hostel, we toured Copenhagen. We eventually found ourselves at Tivoli. What was left of our time in Denmark was to have fun.